What's up, everybody? I hope you all are doing great. So I picked up the iPhone 12 Pro last week and I was curious about the Lidar sensor. I wanted to know, does it actually make a difference when taking photos? First of all, what is Lidar? Lidar stands for light detection and ranging. It uses lasers to bounce off of objects and then returns to the sensor, delivering measurement data on distance by timing the travel or flight of the light pulse. Lidar tech isn't new to smartphones. TOF, or time of flight, is a type of Lidar sensor that we've seen in the past on Samsung and LG phones. The difference between TOF and what Apple is using is the amount of light pulses used. TOF sends out a single light pulse, whereas the Lidar sensor Apple is now using sends out waves of light pulses with infrared dots that are spread out. Each of these dots can be measured with the Lidar sensor in order to create a mesh of the environment, providing dimensions of a space and the objects in a certain space. Most vehicle manufacturers working towards autonomous driving utilize Lidar technology, and this doesn't include Tesla, by the way, in case you were wondering. DJI utilizes Lidar sensors for obstacle avoidance in their drones, and if you do a little research, you'll see this tech is used in many other things and in many other applications. Apple states the Lidar sensor will help provide necessary depth information for portrait mode and deliver better results. This is especially the case in low light. Additionally, focusing in low light should be up to 6 times faster. For my testing, I took a piece of tape, gaff tape right here, and covered the Lidar sensor and then took a portrait mode photo. Then I would peel back the tape and take the same photo. I know Apple never specifically stated the Lidar sensor would help during the day, but I still wanted to test it. Focusing was identical during the day, whether the Lidar sensor was covered or uncovered. This is probably not surprising. However, what was surprising, at least to me, is that the majority of the portrait pictures that I took with the sensor covered up ended up having a sharper image with better subject detection. Kind of weird. Even stranger was when covering and uncovering the Lidar sensor changed the white balance of the overall image. It only happened a few times, but nonetheless, it's still kind of strange. This even happened at night, which I'll show you in just a minute. The thing about this testing is that it's being done in an environment that I really can't control. So it is possible that external factors could have caused the portrait mode photos to perform differently. The only way to eliminate this variable is to do testing in a studio environment. So if you want to see a video like that, let me know in the comment section and we can do things a little bit more scientifically. I just figured I would run a test like this because this is how most people take photos. Moving on to low light testing, it's a night and day difference, which is exactly what Apple stated. However, it's not always consistent. Sometimes in rare circumstances when the sensor is covered up, it makes zero difference. In fact, there were a few times where the camera performed a little bit better when it wasn't using Lidar. Focusing is definitely an improvement, but it comes down to just how much low light we're talking. If there is still available light, like from a street lamp or car headlights, Lidar may not make a difference at all. But going into extremely dim situations, that's when you'll see a difference. That said, there were a few instances where the use of Lidar changed the color of the photo, like this one right here. I'm assuming this is just a bug of some sort since Lidar should have zero effect on color, but yet even my daytime shots, at least some of them, you could see where the color was affected. The one thing that Lidar does help with is nighttime portrait. If you cover up the Lidar sensor, you're not able to take a nighttime portrait shot even with a 1-second exposure. It's just not happening. But removing the tape from the sensor and bam, it instantly locks on and gives you the ability to take a nighttime portrait shot, and the results are amazing. I did this test multiple times, and if the sensor was covered up, nighttime portrait would just not trigger at all, and as soon as it was uncovered, it works nearly instantly. So yeah, it definitely helps out in low light, but it's also very picky and comes down to the amount of light that's available, unless we're talking about nighttime portrait mode. Of course, Lidar is going to help out in many other ways, such as augmented reality, 3D scanning, and it's definitely something that will get better over time. But when strictly talking about the camera and the added benefits, well, unless you take photos in the dark, I don't think it's a major benefit at this time. This isn't to say that it won't get better as the iPhone 12 Pro ages, but as of right now, Lidar shouldn't be a deciding factor for you unless you're heavily reliant on third-party AR or 3D scanning apps. We'll have to see if the iPhone 12 Pro Max is any better once it's released, or if future software updates expand the capabilities when talking about regular photo taking. I would love to see LiDAR work also in video, especially in low light. I'm just not sure if it's possible right now. In any case, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please consider giving it a thumbs up. Subscribe for more videos like this, and I will see you amazing people in the next one.